So I wanted to share a little bit more about the story of the made rights and why I started to cook them, and the meaning for me, what they are. I told a little bit about this in my video for cooking them, but I didn't go into a lot of detail. Made Right is a restaurant chain in Iowa that started in the turn of the century. I want to say it was World War One. It's about 90 years old, give or take. And they started to make these sandwiches when everybody was making hamburgers, and meat prices were kind of up there. And doing it this way allowed it to stretch a little bit more, but offered families a place to have a sandwich at a good price. They had malts and sandwiches and I think fries. So it's popular back west. A lot of people don't, or back in the Midwest. Most people in the East Coast, West Coast, and South do not know this exists. My grandpa is the one that brought this recipe to our family. When they were little kids, him and his brother lived in a town in Iowa. My great-grandparents were farmers there and on a very small budget. And my great-grandfather came over from Germany. My great-grandmother was born here, but my family immigrated, so they didn't have a lot of money. They started a farm. They grew alfalfa, they grew corn, went to church on Sundays, the Methodist church, and my great-grandparents would go after church on Sundays with my grandpa, very tiny, he was under school age, and his brother Denny, and they would go get a Made Right sandwich and share it. And they would have this with the malt, and they used to just look forward to this. I don't know if they went every Sunday, but it was pretty frequent. And they looked forward to this. They did this until my grandpa was 12 when they left and went to Idaho. And he remembered that until he died. This isn't getting heavy, I promise, but it was a point of nostalgia for him, and he remembers the family time, and he remembers the values his parents taught him. And we came out with the recipe when he went back east for a visit to see family and see where he grew up. He always talked about this for years, and it was when he went back to find the chain was still there to this day that my cousin found a recipe for this and gave it to him. So he brought it home, and my grandmother started making this. And then we've started to share this recipe with friends in our community. And everybody that I've made it for has loved it. My grandmother makes this a lot. It's really easy. My grandfather is now gone, so are my great-grandparents, but I make this recipe for members of my community, for my extended family and my friends, because it brings me a lot of joy. I think of him when I make this and think of all the stories about him growing up on the farm, and I think of the nostalgia around the dinner table. Made Right, the word, I think about values and what makes us and our lives, what makes it right. And I think about the love and the values my grandparents shared with us. So making this makes me feel love for my community and makes me want to share that love. I also feel joy, nostalgia, peace, and so much happiness when I make this, because I think of my grandparents and great-grandparents, and I think about what it means to be part of a community. So this works really well at potlucks. This works well For large family gatherings, this works well for small batches, and you can take it in a crock pot, keep it warm. So, yeah. This is just me. This was a practical video to make, and I make these videos not just to also practice presence and mindfulness, but to share the love that's in my heart with the community. Anyways, hope you're all doing well. Take care. So, I wanted to include another thought because I just thought about this after church service tonight, and that's presence. I'm learning what that is. And I was thinking about love and what I was talking about earlier with the reflection video, and how we put that love into what we're doing when we're cooking and sharing with our communities, but also how when we bring a fond memory up, but we've also let go of something, that love that was left with us becomes part of us, and we bring that love into the present time and transmute it. And then we also become present with those around us, and love and presence go hand in hand. So does knowledge and learning. And it's funny how you can transmute things from as you grow. You just learn to transmute what you're learning into presence. By making these videos, it's not just about learning. I hope to leave the world with love and a better place, and in a better place than I found it. We all leave a legacy behind, and whether we have children or not, we leave it in our communities. We leave it with the adults that are in our lives. We leave it with each other. We leave it with our other family. And in my case, I don't have children, but in my community, I work with children, and I hope to leave my little niece and the people who have touched my life, as well as the little ones in the world, with love, kindness, and wisdom. That's kind of what I'm hoping. And so, to being present, to leaving the world with kindness and love, to leaving it with peace, to leaving it with joy. Hope to just make things better. Take care.